Long after the stadium lights fade, long after the crowd stop cheering, there are quiet places on earth where greatness sleeps. Not in arenas, not on podiums, but beneath grass, stone, marble, and silence. These are the resting places of the greatest athletes in history, men and women who once bent human limits, rewrote records, and carried the hopes of nations on their shoulders. Today, they rest far from the roar of victory, yet their stories continue to echo across generations. This is not a story about death. This is a story about legacy. Name Muhammad Ali. Born January 17, 1942. Died June 3, 2016. Resting place, Cave Hill Cemetery, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. Muhammad Ali was more than a boxer. He was a movement, a voice, a challenge to the world itself. Born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., Ali transformed boxing with speed, intelligence, and poetry. He called himself the greatest before the world agreed, and then he proved it. Inside the ring, Ali danced. Outside the ring, he stood firm. He refused to fight in the Vietnam War, sacrificing years of his prime and risking everything for his beliefs. That decision cost him titles, money, and public support, but earned him something far greater: moral authority. Ali's grave is simple. White marble. Clean lines. No excess. Inscribed are words that reflect his life, not his fame. Thousands visit Cave Hill Cemetery each year. Some come for history, others come for inspiration. Many leave in silence because words feel unnecessary here. The man who once shook the world now rests quietly in the city that raised him. Name Edson Arantes do Nascimento Pelé. Born October 23, 1940. Died December 29, 2022. Resting place, Memorial Necropole Ecumênica, Santos, Brazil. Pelé did not just play football. He defined it. Growing up poor in Brazil, he learned the game barefoot, using whatever he could find as a ball. By 17, he was a World Cup champion. By retirement, he had scored more goals than anyone in history. 3 World Cups. 1 global language. Pelé's resting place is unique. Unlike traditional cemeteries, the Memorial Necropole Ecumênica is a vertical cemetery, a tower rising into the sky, overlooking the city of Santos and the stadium where Pelé made history. His mausoleum faces the football pitch. Even in rest, the king watches the game. Brazil mourned Pelé not just as an athlete but as a national symbol. His passing marked the end of an era, one where joy, creativity, and unity flowed through a simple ball. Name George Herman Ruth Jr. Born February 6, 1895. Died August 16, 1948. Resting place, Gate of Heaven Cemetery, Hawthorne, New York, USA. Before Babe Ruth, baseball was a quiet sport. After him, it became a spectacle. Ruth's power changed the game forever. Home runs replaced strategy, crowds grew larger, baseball became America's heartbeat. Off the field, Ruth lived loudly. Too loudly, some said. But fans loved him anyway. His grave is marked by a large granite monument, often surrounded by baseballs, bats, and handwritten notes from fans. Children still leave messages, proof that legends outlive their time. Babe Ruth didn't just play baseball. He made it unforgettable. Name Bruce Lee. Born November 27, 1940. Died July 20, 1973. Resting place, Lakeview Cemetery, Seattle, Washington, USA. Bruce Lee was not an athlete in the traditional sense, but no one pushed the limits of the human body more completely. Speed. Control. Precision. Lee trained his body as a weapon and his mind as a philosophy. He challenged traditional martial arts and created his own system, Jeet Kune Do. His death at just 32 shocked the world. At his grave, fans from every continent gather. Many leave nunchucks, flowers, and handwritten quotes. Some train nearby, believing the place carries energy. Bruce Lee proved that athleticism is not just muscle, it is mastery. Name Jim Thorpe. Born May 28, 1887. Died March 28, 1953. Resting place, Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, USA. Jim Thorpe may be the greatest all-around athlete in history. Olympic gold medals. Professional football. Baseball. Basketball. He dominated every sport he touched. Yet he died poor and largely forgot. After his death, his body was moved across states due to legal battles. Eventually, a town in Pennsylvania was renamed Jim Thorpe and became his final resting place. His grave stands as a reminder: greatness does not always receive justice in life, but history remembers. Name: Jackie Robinson. Born January 31, 1919. Died October 24, 1972. Resting place: Cypress Hills Cemetery, Brooklyn, New York, USA. Jackie Robinson didn't just change baseball. He changed America. When he broke Major League Baseball's color barrier in 1947, he faced hatred, threats, and isolation, yet he responded with dignity and excellence. His grave is modest, but its meaning is enormous. Visitors often stand quietly, understanding that without Robinson, modern sports and society would look very different. These athletes reshaped their sports, but they were only the beginning. Across continents and generations, more champions rest in silence. Fighters, runners, drivers, and giants of strength whose names once shook stadiums. Their graves are scattered across the world, but their impact is universal. Name: Diego Armando Maradona. Born October 30, 1960. Died November 25, 2020. Resting place: Jardín de Paz Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Diego Maradona was football at its most human: brilliant, flawed, emotional, unstoppable. Born in poverty on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, Maradona rose with a ball glued to his feet and dreams larger than the streets he escaped. His left foot carried Argentina to World Cup glory in 1986, producing moments that remain unmatched in football history. One goal came from controversy. Another came from pure genius. Together they defined him. Maradona lived loudly. Fame followed him everywhere, and peace rarely did. His battles with addiction, health, and public scrutiny never dimmed his magic on the pitch, but they shortened his life. His grave is guarded, private, and often surrounded by flowers, football shirts, and handwritten notes from fans who still call him D10S, a god in human form. Argentina did not just bury a footballer. It buried a piece of its soul. Name: Kobe Bean Bryant. Born August 23, 1978. Died January 26, 2020. Resting place: Pacific View Memorial Park, Corona del Mar, California, USA. Kobe Bryant believed greatness was earned through suffering. He trained when others rested. He pushed when others quit. From a teenage rookie to a five-time NBA champion, Kobe's career was defined by discipline, obsession, and relentless improvement. His Mamba mentality became a global philosophy not just for athletes, but for anyone chasing excellence. His sudden death in a helicopter crash shocked the world. At Pacific View Memorial Park, visitors come quietly. Many leave basketballs, purple and gold flowers, and letters thanking him for inspiration. Kobe's grave is not loud, but his legacy echoes in gyms, courts, and minds across the world. Name: Ayrton Senna da Silva. Born March 21, 1960. Died May 1, 1994. Resting place: Morumbi Cemetery, São Paulo, Brazil. Ayrton Senna raced as if he were connected to something beyond speed. 3 Formula One World Championships. Rain races that defied physics. A devotion to perfection that bordered on spiritual. Senna believed racing revealed the true self, and his was fearless. His death during the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix stopped the racing world. Millions watched in disbelief as Brazil lost one of its greatest heroes. His grave is simple and always immaculate. Flowers never fade here; they are replaced daily by admirers who still whisper prayers. Senna once said that being second meant being the first to lose. In memory, he has never been second. Name: James Cleveland Owens. Born September 12, 1913. Died March 31, 1980. Resting place: Oakwood Cemetery, Chicago, Illinois, USA. In 1936 Berlin, Jesse Owens ran against more than competitors. He ran against ideology. 4 gold medals at the Olympic Games achieved in front of Adolf Hitler shattered the myth of racial superiority. Owens did not raise his voice; he let his feet speak. Despite his global fame, Owens returned to a segregated America. His victories did not erase discrimination, but they exposed its lies. His grave stands quietly in Chicago. No grand monument, just a name that changed history. Owens proved that dignity can outrun hate. Name Michael Schumacher. Born January 3, 1969. Died living but commemorated symbolically. Memorial sites, private family locations, Switzerland. Michael Schumacher transformed Formula One into a science. 7 world championships. Relentless precision. Unmatched dominance with Ferrari. He pushed the limits of preparation, data, and mental endurance. Schumacher was not flashy, he was efficient, calculating, and devastatingly consistent. After a tragic skiing accident in 2013, Schumacher disappeared from public life. His condition remains private, protected by family. Though not deceased, fans treat certain memorial sites as places of reflection, honoring a champion whose racing spirit still defines modern motorsport. Sometimes legends do not rest in graves. They rest in memory. Name Joseph Louis Barrow. Born May 13, 1914. Died April 12, 1981. Resting place, Arlington National Cemetery, Virginia, USA. Joe Louis was a heavyweight champion during a divided America. He defended his title 25 times, a record that still stands. But his most important victory came outside the ring when he defeated German boxer Max Schmeling in 1938, becoming a symbol of unity against Nazi propaganda. Louis served in the U.S. Army during World War II. He fought for his country even when it failed him. His burial at Arlington honors both his athletic and national service. From fists to flags, Joe Louis carried weight far heavier than any belt. These athletes ran faster, fought harder, and endured more than most could imagine. Yet greatness does not protect against time. Beyond football fields and boxing rings lie more resting places, belonging to runners who. Name George Best. Born May 22, 1946. Died November 25, 2005. Resting place, Roselawn Cemetery, Belfast, Northern Ireland. George Best played football like an artist painting without fear. He was fast, unpredictable, elegant, a player who could change a match in seconds. At Manchester United, he became a global star long before football truly understood fame. But Best lived as wildly as he played. Alcohol consumed much of his life, eroding a career that could have reached even greater heights. His talent never disappeared, only the time to use it did. His funeral in Belfast drew tens of thousands. People lined the streets, many crying openly as if mourning a family member. At his grave, scarves and messages remain. Love, regret, and admiration lie side by side. George Best reminds the world that brilliance needs protection, even from itself. Name Wilton Norman Chamberlain. Born August 21, 1936. Died October 12, 1999. Resting place, Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, Los Angeles, California, USA. Wilt Chamberlain's numbers still look unreal. 100 points in a single NBA game. Over 50 points per season. Strength that bent opponents and rules alike. Standing over 7 feet tall, Chamberlain combined power, speed, and endurance in a way basketball had never seen. His grave is quiet, far quieter than the noise he created in arenas. Few monuments can capture what Wilt was. Statistics try, stories try, but even history struggles to measure him. Some athletes break records. Wilt broke imagination. Name Serena Jamka Williams. Born September 26, 1981. Status living legend. Symbolic resting places, commemorative courts and statues worldwide. Serena Williams did not wait for permission. She dominated tennis with power, intelligence, and unbreakable will. 23 Grand Slam singles titles achieved in an era of unprecedented competition. More than trophies, Serena reshaped how the world sees women's sports. Though still alive, she is already honored with statues, murals, and dedicated courts, places where fans pause as if at shrines. Her legacy rests not in stone, but in changed expectations. Some athletes build monuments after death. Serena built hers while living. Name Usain Bolt. Born August 21, 1986. Status living. Future Memorial, national sites in Jamaica. Usain Bolt ran as if time itself could not catch him. World records in the 100m and 200m. Olympic dominance across 3 games. A smile that made speed joyful. Bolt transformed sprinting from tension to celebration. His legacy is already preserved in Jamaica through statues and museums, places future generations will visit long after his final race. Though not yet laid to rest, his story already feels complete. Legends do not wait for silence. They create it behind them. Name Nadia Kominsai. Born November 12, 1961. Status: living. Symbolic memorials, Olympic halls and Romanian national sites. At just 14 years old, Nadia Kominsai achieved something thought impossible. A perfect 10. Then another. And another. Gymnastics changed forever in that moment. The scoreboard wasn't designed to show perfection, but Nadia forced the world to adjust. Her impact lives in museums, Olympic halls, and training centers where young gymnasts stop and stare at her photographs. Some legacies are carved in marble. Others are written in movement. Name Charles L. Sonny Liston. Born c. 1932. Died December 30, 1970. Resting place: Paradise Memorial Gardens, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Sonny Liston was power without mercy. Heavyweight champion. Criminal past. A life surrounded by fear and mystery. Liston's death remains controversial. Some say overdose, others say something darker. His grave is modest, almost anonymous. Few visit. Few speak his name. Yet without Liston, there is no Ali as we know him. History does not always honor the dangerous. But it cannot erase them either. Across decades, these athletes shaped how the human body moves, fights, and endures. But beyond the brightest stars are pioneers, women who were told no, runners who carried nations, and champions whose names history almost lost. Their resting places are quieter. Name Florence Dolores Griffith Joyner. Born December 21, 1959. Died September 21, 1998. Resting place: El Camino Memorial Park, San Diego, California, USA. Florence Griffith Joyner did not just run, she dazzled. Known to the world as FloJo, she combined breathtaking speed with unmistakable style. Her long nails, flowing one-legged uniforms, and radiant confidence turned the track into a stage. At the 1988 Seoul Olympics, she rewrote sprinting history. Her world records in the 100 meters and 200 meters still stand, untouched decades later. FloJo's death at 38 stunned the sporting world. Questions followed, but certainty never came. What remained undeniable was her impact. Her grave is often covered with flowers, bright colors replacing the silence of loss. Speed fades. Style fades. Legacy does not. Name Billie Jean King. Born November 22, 1943. Status: living. Symbolic resting places, equality courts, statues, and halls of fame worldwide. Billie Jean King fought battles most athletes never face. She won 39 Grand Slam titles. Then she fought for equal pay. Then she fought for respect. Her famous victory in the Battle of the Sexes in 1973 was not just a tennis match. It was a cultural moment that shifted how women in sports were viewed. Though still alive, her influence is already carved into stadiums, awards, and national monuments. These places are visited with the same reverence as graves because they mark where history changed direction. Some champions win matches. Others win futures. Name Haile Gebrselassie. Born April 18, 1973. Status: living. Future memorials: Ethiopian national sports monuments. Haile Gebrselassie ran with lungs shaped by altitude and a heart shaped by determination. From the mountains of Ethiopia, he rose to dominate long-distance running. Olympic gold medals, world records, and marathon victories followed, one after another. For Ethiopia, Haile became more than a runner. He became proof that endurance can lift a nation. Though still alive, his story is already preserved in Ethiopian sports history. Training centers carry his name. Young runners stop to listen when elders speak of him. Some resting places are not yet built, but the ground is already prepared. Name Jacqueline Joyner Kersee. Born March 3, 1962. Status: living. Symbolic: memorials, Olympic sites and athletic foundations. Jackie Joyner Kersee may be the greatest female athlete ever. Heptathlon. Long jump. 6 Olympic medals. She competed through asthma, injury, and adversity, and still dominated events requiring speed, strength, and skill. Her legacy is honored through foundations, statues, and educational centers. These spaces act as living memorials, places where children learn what is possible. Greatness is not loud. It is consistent. Name Ronald Antonio Sullivan. Born December 5, 1975. Status: living. Symbolic: recognition, snooker halls and sporting institutions. Ronnie O'Sullivan changed how precision sports are understood. In snooker, a game of patience and control, he brought speed, aggression, and creativity. Multiple world titles followed, but so did battles with mental health. Though still alive, Ronnie's influence is already studied and remembered. Tables where he once played are treated with reverence as if memory lingers in the felt. Not all athletes run or fight. Some conquer stillness. Name Emil Zatopek. Born September 19, 1922. Died November 22, 2000. Resting place: Valešské Meziříčí Cemetery, Czech Republic. Emil Zatopek ran with a face twisted in effort and a will that refused surrender. At the 1952 Olympics, he won gold in the 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, and marathon, an achievement never repeated. Despite global fame, Zatopek lived modestly. Political pressure followed him and recognition came late. His grave is simple. No grand statue. Just the name of a man who redefined endurance. Sometimes the hardest races are not televised. These athletes carried speed, strength, and courage into places where doubt once lived. Yet history still holds more resting places: fighters who fell young, champions taken too soon, and legends whose final moments shocked the world. Their graves are heavy with silence. Their stories are not. Name Kobe Bean Bryant. Born August 23, 1978. Died January 26, 2020. Resting place: Pacific View Memorial Park, Corona del Mar, California, USA. In life, Kobe Bryant was defined by effort. In death, he became a symbol of loss shared by millions. The helicopter crash that ended his life also took his daughter Gianna and 7 others. Mourning spread far beyond basketball. Courts around the world fell silent. Fans continue to visit his grave, often standing quietly, reading messages left by strangers. Murals rise in cities across continents, visual prayers painted on walls. Kobe's story did not end in tragedy. It transformed into purpose. Name Ralph Dale Earnhardt. Born April 29, 1951. Died February 18, 2001. Resting place: Earnhardt Estate Cemetery, Mooresville, North Carolina, USA. Dale Earnhardt raced with fearless aggression. 7 NASCAR championships. Black number 3 car. A presence that unsettled opponents. He died doing what defined him, racing at full commitment. His death at the Daytona 500 changed motorsport safety forever. His burial site is private, surrounded by woods and guarded from public intrusion. Yet fans gather nearby, leaving flags and memorabilia. Speed demands respect. Sometimes it takes a life to earn it. Name Marco Pantani. Born January 13, 1970. Died February 14, 2004. Resting place: Cesenatico Cemetery, Italy. Marco Pantani climbed mountains like a man possessed. Tour de France champion. Giro d'Italia champion. A cyclist who attacked when others waited. But suspicion followed success. Accusations of doping shadowed his career and devastated his spirit. Pantani died alone in a hotel room, officially from drug overdose. Fans still argue the truth. His grave is emotional. Photographs, pirate flags, and notes cover the stone. Some champions are destroyed by the weight of expectation. Name Sean Michael Taylor. Born April 1, 1983. Died November 27, 2007. Resting place: Glendale Memorial Park, Florida, USA. Sean Taylor's talent was undeniable. A dominant NFL safety. Feared. Respected. He was killed during a home invasion at just 24 years old. His death shocked American sports and raised questions about security, fame, and vulnerability. His grave is visited by fans who never saw his prime, only the promise. Greatness sometimes ends before it begins. Name: Emmanuel Dapedron Pacquiao. Born December 17, 1978. Status: living. Symbolic legacy: Philippine national honors and monuments. Manny Pacquiao fought his way out of poverty. 8 world titles in 8 weight classes, a feat unmatched in boxing history. He carried an entire nation with him into the ring. Though still alive, he is honored with statues, halls, and national recognition that resemble memorials. Pacquiao's legacy stands as proof that survival itself can be victory. Not all legends fall. Some endure. Name: Walter Jerry Payton. Born July 25, 1954. Died November 1, 1999. Resting place: Graceland Cemetery, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Walter Payton ran with heart. Nicknamed Sweetness, he combined power and grace, becoming one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. After retirement, illness claimed him too soon. His death from bile duct cancer led to increased awareness and research. Fans still visit his grave, often leaving footballs and letters. Some athletes are remembered for how they played. Others for how they lived. The silence grows heavier as the story nears its end. These athletes ran, fought, drove, and climbed beyond what seemed possible. Their resting places remind us that greatness does not escape mortality, but it reshapes it. Only a few chapters remain. They bring reflection, meaning, and closure. Not every great athlete is remembered by name. Across the world, in small cemeteries and forgotten plots, lie Olympians whose records were once celebrated and later erased by time. Early runners, swimmers, wrestlers, and gymnasts, many from eras before television, trained without sponsors, fame, or protection. Some returned from Olympic victory to poverty. Some died in wars. Some were never recognized again. Their graves are often unmarked or modest, yet they carried the Olympic spirit long before it became a global industry. Greatness does not always come with memory. But memory does not define greatness. Sport celebrates risk, but risk sometimes takes everything. Formula One drivers lost at impossible speeds. Boxers collapsed under bright lights. Mountaineers fell where victory was inches away. Many of these athletes rest near the places they died, their graves tied forever to the sport that defined them. Fans visit not out of excitement but respect. These graves remind us that courage has a cost. For generations, women fought simply to be allowed to compete. Many pioneers rest quietly now, their achievements overshadowed in their time but celebrated later. They trained without funding. They competed without recognition. They endured without apology. Their resting places do not shout. They whisper change. An athlete's grave is rarely about death. It is about pause. The pause after a sprint. The pause after a fight. The pause after victory. Graves, statues, and memorials allow the living to reflect not on how an athlete died, but on how they lived. Flowers replace cheers. Silence replaces noise. And still inspiration remains. People travel thousands of miles to stand quietly near a name carved in stone. Why? Because greatness feels closer there. Because silence makes memory louder. Because these places remind us that even legends were human. In standing still, we remember motion. Every athlete runs out of time. The stopwatch never stops, it only moves on to the next name. But records break. Stories survive. And legacies rest quietly, waiting to be remembered. These resting places are not endings. They are chapters without noise. And in that silence, greatness speaks. The stadium lights go dark. The crowd goes home. The world moves forward. But somewhere beneath stone, soil, and sky, the greatest athletes in history rest. Not forgotten. Not finished. Just silent. If you want next.